Hey everybody, this is Perch. Do you remember the Marvel swimsuit issues? Technically, there's a Wildstorm as well, and I think a couple other companies kind of spat out some swimsuit issues. They were basic cheesecake. They were, there weren't much to them. They were in a weird format, meaning the size was a little different. I remember it really irritating people who came into the comic shop, wanted to put them in bags because they were going to send their kids to college based on the swimsuit issues. Of course, they did not rise in value as much as some of the collectors might have hoped, but they really wanted them in some bags that would fit that comic. And this is a big issue at the time. Anyway, the Marvel swimsuit special basically ran from 91 to 95. It was parroting the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues and would have kind of the different characters in different areas. They had it on the moon one time in Wakanda and other places. And they basically, the characters be hanging around in swimsuits. It's often described as a disgusting fan service, lots of criticism for the books. But if you actually open them up, there's more cheesecake for the men in many cases than the women. You had, who could ever forget the Punisher in that kind of spandex skull suit where he just had a skull over his junk. And it was not a very impressive skull either. He had clearly been playing around in some cold water. You had the Ghost Rider, who was just bones. They just had him in nothing. He was just on fire, and there was a skeleton there. And they had Namor with like a tiny, tiny little seashell over his junk, which revealed why Sue Storm always goes back to Mr. Fantastic. He can stretch everywhere. Anyway, these issues got a bunch of people kind of PO'd, and they were going to do another one, the Marvel Summer Special in 2019, but there was a little bit of an outcry from some of the creators, the usual suspects, some editors who no longer work for the company and have actually been released and hopped a few times, need to go back to esports. Anyway, they complained about this. Marvel ultimately canceled the issue. I wonder what in the world a Marvel swimsuit special in 2019 would have looked like, but we'll only have our imaginations in mind to tell us that. Anyway, like I said, it generally disliked, but so imagine the surprise when DC has announced that this summer, no, they're not doing a swimsuit issue, but what they are doing is variant covers, which is clever. Variant covers tend to appeal to the older 45 to 55 collector audience that is buying these comics. So in August, we're going to get swimsuit variant covers with DC superheroes cooling off and hanging out in the water. What's interesting about these covers is sort of like the Marvel swimsuit issues. There's just as many men as women in this case. And it kind of always cracks me up a little bit because it's like, we're going to have these superheroes take off their tight form-fitting spandex and put on swimsuits made of tight form-fitting spandex. I don't know. There's a bit of comedy in all this. But anyway, these covers, as I mentioned, are coming in August, and they're going to be for Action Comics 1046 by Stanley Art Jim Lau. You've got Batman 126 will feature a swimsuit cover by Mikel Janin. Batman Superman World's Finest number 6 by Rafa Sandoval. Black Adam number 3 by Emanuela Lupicano. Catwoman 46 by Jeff DeCall. Deathstroke Inc. number 12 by David Lapham. Harley Quinn number 21 by Megan Huang. Nightwing number 95 by Nicola Scott. Nubia Queen of the Amazons number 3 by Derek Chu. And Poison Ivy number 3 by Joelle Jones and Jordi Belair. So what am I saying? Belvedere. Nubia's Queen of the Amazons number 3. This is going to be the highest selling version of that comic that's come out. A comic that is not been renewed and continues to drag ass down the bottom of the sales charts. Anyway, the covers are generally benign. What is interesting here, I mean, the Art Germ Supergirl cover is quite nice of her kind of doing a selfie. We get Batman standing stoically in the water while Catwoman has fun with his ball. An actual beach ball, not his. Anyway, but I can't help but notice that in a lot of these covers, the Art Germ Supergirl costume is certainly she is filling out that outfit, and the Nubia costume, for some reason, she's playing volleyball in her tiara, and there is a very bizarre expression on Wonder Woman's face during this. Which is fine. The Poison Ivy looks like kind of standard Jones material. Looks kind of fantasy. The Nightwing one is the one where, for all of the comments about sexual gratification and all the rest, they've got Nightwing with the crack of his ass showing, and his dick is just right there in the suit. So Nightwing continues to represent the hypocrisy of a lot of this stuff where people go all over the top about, we can't have this kind of sexist kind of stuff, but oh my God, have you seen Nightwing's ass? I don't know. I saw a creator, they deleted the tweet like what must have been 20 minutes after posting it, talking about how they're going to go rub one out to the Nightwing cover. And I'm like, that is peak 2022 and incredibly sad. Anyway, I don't know what's going on. There's better ways to say you're gay than that. But anyway, so Harley Quinn's got some, Harley Quinn looks like kind of a standard Harley Quinn. Nightwing, or a Deathstroke looked like a standard Deathstroke cover. Anyways, the Catwoman one is quite nice. But the Black Adam in a tub shooting lightning bolts at his junk while he's drinking kind of a fruity drink is something kind of special. But anyway, DC is doing this, not getting a lot of outcry from it. But I did see one person complaining about the Supergirl cover. They're not complaining about the the Nightwing cover, but oh well. I don't know. The swimsuit issue has this history to comics. You had Stuart Immonen, Ty Templeton kind of find their place within Marvel via the swimsuit issue. Tom DeFalco was largely the person who did all this. But you had a lot of kind of people who would go on to do big things. The Hildebrands, Adam Hughes, Joe Maggera, Dan Pasayan, Joe Quesada, Brian Steelfreeze, Mike Diodato. You had a lot of people who contributed to these Marvel swimsuit issues back in the day, and they were goofy and fun. They were not meant to be taken seriously. They were less than PG level content. Like as I said, the most disturbing costumes in the entire thing had to be the ones on the men. Those are the ones that looked thoroughly odd. But hey, whatever goes. It's kind of sad in a way. This is clearly the 2022 version. It's a variant cover now instead of an actual comic. It's featuring more men than women, but which again is sort of like the original swimsuit issues. But it's weird navigating this water. Well, I guess we'll have to see in the weeks to come if some people get all outraged about it and angry about sexism in comics. But I don't imagine it. Not when you got a picture of Nightwing to rub off to. Rub one out to, I guess, was the exact tweet. Anyway, I don't know. It is Warren Ellis at the time said that male characters are included at the direction of Christian Cooper, who did the Marvel comics. And again, absolutely, they did. DeFalco claimed it broke a lot of walls in terms of sexualizing some of the male characters. Okay. Anyway, it's a curious thing. My guess is what this is going to do is bump the sales significantly for Nubia. That Supergirl costume cover in the little swimsuit and skirt is absolutely going to do huge business. And yes, there'll be plenty of people buy the Nightwing. But otherwise, this feels like yet another variant scheme that's going to kind of, appear and disappear very quickly. But are you buying into this? Be honest. Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to go for this? Are you going to pick up these variant issues? Is this something that's exciting? Would you like to see the return of a swimsuit special? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for listening.